Seed starting season is in full swing. And so today I want to show you the products that we've used over the years so that you can have a successful start to the growing year. Now, these are products that we have tried and used over the last few years, found success with, and I'll leave links down below to everything that we discussed today. We'll not only discuss some of the products that we use today, but some of the things that we used when we got started, because you don't need to have all of these things to have success. When it comes to starting seeds, you probably have something in your house that you can use. Even a basic cup is good enough to start a seed. Now, most people, when they go to the stores, they'll pick up something, one of these little plastic containers here, and we've used these when we first got started and they work just fine. Now, for the amount of seed starting that we do, though, over time, these plastic containers will break. Well, there you go right there. They'll end up tearing and breaking. But they will work, and we used them at first when we got started. After a while, we wanted something more durable, and we went to these wind strip trays. Now, these trays are pretty thick and durable, right even down to these plastic trays here. I can abuse them pretty good, and nothing's going to happen to them. The beauty about these wind strip trays is they give better air pruning to the roots by having all those slits right there and the airflow that goes on between, like right in here is where I would have dirt, and then there's just an airflow pocket right there. And then probably one of the biggest advantages I like about these trays, of which this is a 50 cell tray. They've got them in, I think it's 120s, 72s, and these 50s. But there's a large hole here in the back. So when it comes to trying to pop out the seedling, this is way easier than the other method here. It's just a little bit more of a struggle. Another aspect of seed starting is trying to be as organized as possible, whether it's where you store your seeds or labeling your plants. I can't tell you how many times I have planted things thinking it was something such as a cucumber, only to find it to be something totally different. So make sure that you label your seeds. Now, you can label them with buying fancy labels and all that, and we have done that. But one of the things that we actually like the most is just upcycling these little vinyl blinds. We'll just cut them into pieces, and then that way we can label our plants so we know what we're putting where. Now, this marker here, it's called a Mr. Penn garden marker. These things we find to be the most effective in that when we go outside, while we have used permanent markers, they just seem to wipe off, where this Mr. Penn marker seems to work real great. Key thing to consider is to make sure you have your seeds organized. One method here is what Lori did, was upcycle a photo storage container. She did a video on it. You can go check that one out. But what's nice is that each one of these containers she labeled with the type of seeds that we have in here, and these seed packets fit real well into the size of these containers. To help with the organization, Lori went out and got this label maker. There's a bunch of different ones on the market. We find this one, though, to work out real well for us. When it comes to starting seeds, probably the most important thing is the soil mixture that you get. Now, we did videos back when we first got started on how you can make your own seed starting soil, and we've had a lot of success with it. But over the years, we have found this Pro Mix brand to be absolutely fantastic. It's not the cheapest thing out there, but it's worth the extra investment to get a high quality seed starting soil. This is light, fluffy, and sterile, and that's exactly what you're going to find with this Pro Mix. Heat mats are another tool that we have found to be extremely helpful here. We didn't start out with them at first when we were new to gardening, but probably in about the third year of doing this, we purchased these two heat mats here from iPower, and this is a 20 by 48. They do make them 10 by 20s, which are the sides of these trays, and what a world of difference they made in giving us successful germination. Because what it'll do is it'll keep your soil temperature exactly where you want it. Now, in order to keep that temperature where you want it, and on some heat mats they include it, but we had to go and buy this thermostat. Now, I can set this thermostat to where I want it, somewhere between 75 and 85 degrees, depending upon what we're growing. You know, peppers are going to want it hotter than some of the other things like flowers. And then there's a probe on that thermostat that I just put right into the soil. And so therefore, I'll get consistent temperatures and successful germination. Besides the heat, another thing that these seeds need to get started is humidity and airflow. Now that humidity can be created by using covers, and there's high dollar covers and there's some general covers. In fact, this was off of, I think it was a Jiffy uh, pack that you can buy out there in the big box stores. And we still use that one, and that's fine for us. But as you can see, for other humidity domes, sometimes we just get creative. Like we'll use this plastic cover here, or if we really, when we got started with this, saving money, we just use some saran wrap, and that works just fine. Another tool that we keep and use are these spray bottles filled with water, just especially when these seeds are small or non-existent, that you don't have any green on here. Majority of the time our watering is bottom watering, but this spray bottle here is convenient just to keep those seeds moist on top. One item I never thought we would need, but it has been a huge benefit to us, are these small fans. Now these are clip-on fans that we can adjust on these racks to where we want them, but that breeze going across these young seedlings leads to stronger plants, leads to less fungal issues, and when they're ready to go out, they'll be healthy and good to go. Now when you're starting your seeds indoors, one of the main considerations you have to have is light. You can put them by a window, but grow lights sometimes can be a better source. Now, grow lights can get to be very expensive, and you don't necessarily need to get what is called grow lights. You can use shop lights. Now, we did a whole video on 2 different types of lights that we used. We first started out with these fight lights that we could get, and those were easy plug and play. And then we also ended up investing in these shop lights by Barina. Now, these are T5 shop lights that we have, and since we bought those, they now have T8 lights, which are probably a little bit better, and I'd recommend those. But another element that we've also started using and incorporating, and it can be a real low cost for those that are just getting started, is to look up Sansi. And we use these Sansi grow light bulbs here on a lot of our tropical citrus and some of our other house plants. And that is just an easy way to get going if you just have a small amount of seeds that you want to get started with. Now we have a few different varieties of these Sansi lights, but I picked up these bulbs. I think they were on sale on Amazon for around $10 a piece, and then I just need to buy a connector for it. But you can go and plug these into just about anywhere. In fact, I've even got some Sansi lights that I've put into our ceiling light fixture up above. Some of the downsides to these grow lights is they can get pretty darn bright, and it's not something you want to see all the time. So what we did is we just took these metal clamp light covers here, and as you can see, I was just able to slide those right over, so it dulls it to the eye, but the plant is still doing just fine. And another spot where we did it is with our grow light racks, where we just use some vinyl blinds, and those things help a lot if we don't want to see all the bright lights. Now with these Barina lights, this is more of a you have to build it system, but it's very cost effective. And so go check out that video on how I built this. And when we first did it, I was just putting 3 lights onto each one of these racks here, which are 20 inches deep by 4 feet wide. But since then, I've added 2 more bulbs into those runs, and I'm getting better results by having a little bit more light, like you can see here. In addition to your lights, I'm going to strongly recommend that you get a timer, so that way you don't need to worry about making sure you turn them on or off. You can just set your lights, like we have ours going on for about 14 hours a day. Last year I started converting over to these type of timers. These are just a smart plug here by Tapo. They make them both for indoor and outdoor use that I can adjust with my smartphone. And these things are great because if I'm out of town, I can still make adjustments, turn the lights on or off when needed. With all the growing that we do and all the seed starting we get going with, we've gone to these larger grow racks here that are 20 by 48. They have adjustable shelves on them. It also allows us to hang our lights from. These things are fantastic. On top of everything else, they also have wheels. So that way when we want to move things around, we can just shift them around. And now these are heavy duty, some people will call them baker shelves, but you can find these on Amazon. Fantastic product. But when we first got started, we didn't have shelves all that much. So what we ended up using was these little, you might see them online, they're kind of these greenhouse kits. And this was a little put together system that we still to this day use both inside and outside, works fantastic, and you can follow the same method for hanging lights off of. Now, originally this came with a cover, and it was a whole contained area for a greenhouse kit. I don't use the cover anymore, but the shelves work awesome. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you have a great, successful growing season. If you have any questions or suggestions, please put them down in the comment section below, and we'll see you on the next video.